Hello, Virgo. Um, uh, okay. I need you to stay with me for this one. Um, because what came through when I sat with your energy today, I had to pause, put everything down, close my eyes, um, and just feel it for a moment before I could even begin. Because this is not small. If something pulled you here today, if you found yourself clicking on this when you had 17 other things to do, that wasn't distraction. Um, that was the most knowing part of you saying, this one is for me. Um, pay attention. Um, so get comfortable because what I'm sensing in your energy right now has the quality of something that has been quietly assembling on someone else's end without your full knowledge for longer than you might imagine. Uh, the first thing coming through for you, and this is the one that stopped me, is a decision, not a feeling, uh, not a hope, not a maybe someday, a decision. Uh, someone in your life uh, or someone moving towards your life has crossed an internal threshold. The specific threshold of uh, I know what I want. I know who I want, and I am ready to do something about it. Uh, not in the casual sense. Um, in the specific, I have thought about this. I have sat with it. I have examined it from every angle, and my answer keeps coming back the same sense. Uh, the answer is you. Um, and what I'm sensing in the energy around this is that what's being planned isn't impulsive. Um, it has been considered deliberate. Um, the kind of thing someone does when they have moved past the deliberation and arrived at certainty. Uh, and certainty, um, when it arrives in someone who loves you, tends to produce action, real action, um, the kind that changes the landscape. This reflection invites you to consider, have you been sensing something different about this person lately? Not in a dramatic way, in the quiet way, um, the way someone carries themselves when they've made up their mind um, but haven't said it yet. A stillness, a warmth that feels slightly more deliberate than usual, a quality of attention. Um, when they look at you, that has a specific weight to it, because that weight, um, if you've been noticing it, um, might be exactly what it feels like. Someone carrying something significant and waiting for the right moment to set it down in front of you. Uh, the second thing coming through And this one has a very specific texture to it, is planning. Uh, Not the vague, I should do something romantic at some point kind of planning, the specific, I am thinking about the details. I am considering the moment. I am building something, kind of planning, um, and planning of this nature, the deliberate, romantic kind, only happens when someone is serious. Um, when the casual option, um, the easy, low stakes, keeps everything open option no longer feels adequate, when what they feel has grown large enough um, that it requires a gesture proportional to its size. And what I'm sensing around this person is that the feeling has been growing quietly, consistently, building in the background of ordinary moments uh, until it reached the point where ordinary moments no longer felt like enough of a container for it. Uh, Something extraordinary might be being prepared for you, specifically with care and intention and the specific energy um, of someone who wants to get this right. Not perfect, right, um, for you in a way that feels like it was made for the specific person you are, rather than a generic romantic gesture that could have been for anyone. Um, that distinction between generic and specific is what I'm feeling in this energy. Um, this feels specific. Um, this feels like someone who has been paying attention to who you actually are and is planning something that reflects that. Um, Now, let's talk about what a proposal of love actually means in the fullest sense of that phrase. Um, because proposal in the romantic context isn't necessarily a ring and a knee on the ground. Though for some of you, that might be exactly what this is, a proposal of love. Um, in the deeper sense, is any moment where someone puts what they feel genuinely, vulnerably, without the safety net of ambiguity into the space between you, uh, and says, um, this is what I want. This is what I'm offering. And I'm asking you clearly, without hidden exits, um, what you want to. That act of removing the ambiguity, um, of choosing clarity over the comfortable, maybe is one of the most significant things one person can offer another. Uh, And it appears to be what might be coming toward you in some form at some point in this window from someone who has decided uh, that the comfortable maybe um, is no longer where they want to live. This reflection invites you to consider, what does being proposed to, in the broad sense, actually feel like for you? Mm, Not what you think it should feel like. What comes up in your body when you sit with the possibility that someone has made a clear decision about wanting you, um, and is preparing to say so, um, in a way that leaves no room for misinterpretation. Um, does it feel like relief, like excitement, um, like something you've been quietly hoping for, but were afraid to let yourself want too clearly? Or does something in you tighten around the vulnerability of being chosen that completely? Because whatever comes up, that's the most important information available to you right now, more than anything about them, um, about you, um, and what you actually want. The third thing coming through, and this is the one I want you to really sit with, uh, is the weight of being chosen. Not just wanted, uh, chosen. Uh, there is a profound difference between those two things. And most people spend their entire lives confusing one for the other. Uh, Being wanted, um, in the casual sense, requires nothing of the person doing the wanting. It's available, uh, easy. Um, it doesn't close any doors, doesn't require accountability, doesn't ask the person to put their name on something, um, in a way that can be seen, um, and held and remembered. Uh, Being chosen, um, is different. Being chosen means someone looked at every available option, and came back to you. Um, Someone sat with the question long enough that the answer stopped feeling like a question and started feeling like a fact. Um, the fact of you. I specifically, irreplaceably, um, and what might be coming toward you in this energy, uh, has that quality. Um, the quality of someone who has chosen, not from desperation, not from convenience, not because you were the available option, but because when they examined their own heart honestly, ah, your name was there consistently without competition. Uh, and that kind of choosing, when it arrives, deserves to be received as what it actually is. Um, not minimized, not immediately audited for catches, not deflected by the part of you that isn't sure it deserves to be chosen this clearly. Um, Received fully as the significant, rare, genuinely meaningful thing it is. Um, Now, something needs to be said about your side of this because this reading isn't only about what they're planning. Um, oh, it's about whether you're ready to receive it and ready uh, in this context. Um, doesn't mean having no fears, doesn't mean feeling completely certain, doesn't mean having resolved every complicated feeling uh, about love and vulnerability and what happens when you let someone in completely. Ready means willing, um, willing to be in the room uh, when the significant thing arrives, willing to stay present rather than retreating into analysis or deflection or the protective performance of not being as moved as you actually are. Um, because the performance of not being moved, um, however habitual, is one of the more expensive things you can do in a moment that deserves your genuine response. Mm. Oh, and this moment, when it arrives, deserves your genuine response, uh, not the composed version, not the one that looks impressive from the outside, the real one, whatever it is. Um, oh, if it moves you, let it move you. If it produces tears, uh, let them come. Um, if it makes you laugh from relief or joy or the specific delight of something you wanted, um, arriving in the exact right form. Let yourself laugh, be in it um, fully um, as yourself. That's the only version of receiving that honors what's being given. This reflection invites you to consider what would you need to put down to be fully present for this, not permanently, just in the moment. What armor, what protective reflex, what practiced response would need to be set aside uh, for you to actually be there in the full, unguarded, this is actually happening sense when the moment arrives. Um, because that version of you, the unguarded one, is the one they're planning this for. And meeting the moment as that version rather than the composed one might be the most significant gift you can offer in return. The fourth energy coming through. And this one surprised me, is patience. Not yours, theirs. this person, whoever they are, has been patient um, in a way that isn't passive in the specific. I see what this is. Um, I know what I feel, and I am willing to wait for the right moment. Kind of patience. Uh, they haven't rushed this. Um, they haven't pushed, they haven't demanded a response before the response was ready. Um, they've been, um, in the truest sense of the word, showing up consistently um, in the ways that don't always get noticed um, because they're not dramatic, just present, just there, uh, just choosing you in the small daily ways that accumulate into something undeniable. Uh, and now, uh, what's been accumulating seems to be reaching the point where it wants to be named um, officially um, in a form that both of you can hold. That's what this energy feels like. Um, the natural completion um, of something that has been building toward a moment of naming uh, uh, and naming uh, in love changes everything. Um, Not because the feeling changes, uh, but because once something is named, it becomes real in a different way. It exists outside of the two people um, in the world um, as a fact, and the fact they might be preparing to name is you um, and them together uh, as something decided, um, as something real. The fifth energy, and this is the one worth carrying into whatever comes next, is love as a choice, not love as a feeling that arrives and leaves without consent. Um, Love as a decision made consciously with full awareness of what it requires and the willingness to give it anyway. Um, um, what seems to be being planned for you has that quality. Um, the quality of someone who isn't operating from the rush of early feeling uh, that can feel like certainty but dissolves under pressure. The quality of someone who has sat with this, tested it against difficulty, and found that it held. Um, um, and love that has been tested and held is a different proposition than love that simply arrived. Um, it's sturdier, more honest, more capable of sustaining the weight of an actual shared life um, rather than just the beautiful early version of one. That might be what's coming toward you, the sturdy kind. Um, the tested kind, um, the kind that when it makes a proposal is doing so not from the peak of feeling, but from the settled place of, I know what this is and I want it uh, permanently. Um, this reflection invites you to consider, what does love as a choice rather than love as a feeling actually mean to you? Um, have you experienced it before? The kind that stays present, not because the feeling is always at full volume, but because someone keeps choosing uh, in the ordinary moments to show up. And if this person, the one whose energy is coming through here, has been doing that quietly, consistently, what does that tell you about the quality of what might be being offered? Because the proposal itself, uh, however it arrives, um, is just the formal acknowledgement of something that has probably already been happening in the daily choices um, for longer than either of you have fully named. Here is what the energy is asking of you right now, uh, before the moment arrives. Get honest with yourself about what you actually want, not what seems reasonable, um, not what feels safe, not the managed down version of what you want that your protective instincts have been offering as the more sensible alternative, the actual thing in the quiet when nobody is watching. Uh, what do you want um, from this connection, from this person, from this potential version of your life um, that includes them fully and officially in it? Uh, because your answer to that question, known in advance, is what allows you to respond when the moment arrives from your actual center rather than from surprise, rather than from the overwhelm of being asked something significant um, before you knew what you thought. Know what you think before they ask. Um, so the answer, when it comes, is yours, genuinely, um, without performance, without the managed response. Just yours, true, real. The power is yours. It always has been. Something beautiful might be assembling itself in the space between you and another person um, right now, quietly, deliberately, with the specific care of someone who wants to get this right. Um, and when it arrives, in whatever form it takes, be there for it, um, fully, um, as the unguarded, unperformed, actually present version of yourself. Um, because that version, the real one, is who they're planning this for. Um, that version is who they chose. Let yourself be chosen completely, um, without the armor, without the audit, without the part of you that says, um, this is probably too good. Um, just let it be good, um, completely, um, for once. Take what resonates, softly release the rest. Trust yourself. Tell me in the comments when someone chooses you clearly and completely what comes up for you first. Relief, fear, joy, something complicated, drop it below. And has someone been showing up for you consistently in the quiet, unglamorous ways that you maybe haven't fully acknowledged yet? Tell me about them. That's everything today. Go get honest with yourself um, about what you actually want before the moment asks you. That's the whole preparation. Um, that's the only one that matters. See you soon.